Dara Recommends Podcasts is a podcast recommending series and shouldn't be mistaken as a reviewing one. Opinions about each show are my own and should not reflect what each podcast has to offer. Content warnings aside, I believe if any recommendation in my series interests you, you should give it a chance, regardless of how I personally feel about the show.
Hey Star, are you ready?
I'm a lady!
And welcome to iDOL Days, the show about iDOL animes. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Star.
First episode.
Wow, episode 0.
Episode 0.
As I've been calling it, iDOL Academy, the intro to idols and your wonderful hosts. That's us.
That's us. Hey Star, what's an idols?
Good question. No one really knows. Okay. So, I guess to get started is, this is our iDOL anime-themed podcast. And because some folks might not be familiar with what an iDOL is or what an iDOL anime is, we're going to do a real quick introduction on some basic terminology, definitions. It's iDOL boot camp. Get ready for it.
Boot camp.
So to answer your question, Sarah, an iDOL is kind of a catch-all term for a Japanese pop star. The main thing they do is sing and dance. It's very cute. There are boy idols and girl idols. Most idol shows are about girl idols, but guy-idols.
Guy idols. Yep.
That's my term. Trademark, copyright.
We follow our hosts, Sarah and Star, as they delve into iDOL anime, uncovering the secrets of the iDOL Illuminati and who is, once and for all, the best girl. iDOL Days is a podcast about iDOL and iDOL-adjacent anime. Star and Sarah run through the plots of each show, the show's music, and talk about the various characters, as well as their thoughts on the show they are watching. The podcast is full of inside jokes, as well as conversations about Japan, and the host's own experience as art students and iDOL anime enjoyers. Star was an artist that I followed for some years before I listened to this podcast. So just like a quick rundown of it, I started following Star like late 2019, early 2020, somewhere around then. I had joined TikTok at the end of 2019. That's how I first found out about her as an artist. And Star has this comic called Cast Off, which, funny enough, is the art I'm drawing for this video. And I read her comic, and I was like I read her comic, and I liked her art tutorials because she talks a lot about webcomics on her social media. And I liked the tips that she gave, and I bought some of her brushes from her online store, which I've used in some of my other works. And I was just a casual follower, but around last spring, so when I draw, I usually listen to like video game streams, but I had recently gotten into listening to video essays while drawing, along with stream content, just because after a while I get tired of it, and a lot of the streamers I follow either on a hiatus or they're not posting content for games that I'm interested in. So I started listening to video essays, and Star is one of the people who had started, funny enough, last year posting video essays. So I started listening to those, and I started going to her streams when she would stream, because she actually streams at a time that's convenient for me to join in on. And I ended up getting a bit more into just like her YouTube stuff, and I saw that she's in 2 podcasts. And if you had seen my video about What's Left of Us, that's the other podcast. This is the other podcast that she's in. This is one that she hosts with Sarah. I ended up listening to it because I needed to fill in the gap from the last time I was listening to a bunch of podcasts, early summer to now in the fall, where I'm doing my annual re-listen of a podcast that if any of you guys have followed me long enough, you could probably guess what podcast it is. And I needed something to fill in the blank, and this is the show that filled in the blank. This show is very long. There's so many hours of the show. Episodes range anywhere from like just barely over an hour, which is like maybe like a couple episodes that range that long, to being like almost 3 hours long. So if you need something like super, super long to fill in a bunch of time, this is a really great show for it. And the iDOL recommendation podcast being recommended by the podcast recommendation show, which I find really funny. But yeah, this is a recommendation show, if you haven't caught that on at this point. So it's not just them sitting around and talking about, like, you know, different iDOL shows. Like, it gets very in-depth with, like, episodes and stuff. So if you're somebody who's, like, say, for example, hey, I heard about Love Live. Is Love Live worth watching? Well, these guys did an episode about not only the original Love Live series, but also for Love Live Sunshine, and the movies, and the other one, but the name of that one escapes me at the moment. Yeah, they did those, and they did it for a bunch of other ones. And I like it, too, because they introduced me to some idol animes that have plots that interest me enough for me to bookmark them, or ones I've already watched. So I went, because of the show, I went and I watched Secco Boys, and I'm in the middle of watching Vivi Fluorite Eye Song. So this show does work. But I also just like how they are, both Sarah and Star, as hosts. Star as a host is very critical, and she's more of a plot-focused recommender than Sarah is, who Sarah is more of a character-focused based recommender. Star talks a lot about plot and gives writing tips while talking about the plot, and if there's anything about a plot of an anime that they're talking about that she doesn't like, she'll be the one that says it, and she most likely will be the one that points it out, as well as if it's here's a plot point that's introduced, they never do anything with it, she's gonna be the one that points it out. Meanwhile, Sarah is the more character-focused. She talks a lot about liking shows that are very slice-of-life versus shows with plots that are very plot-focused, like Vivi is. So anime more like iDOL. She's also the very shippy kind, so if you're somebody who loves shipping a lot, she's gonna be the one who gives you the ships. She's got the gossip on the ships. And it's cool too, sometimes they invite Sarah's wife, Athena, along for October. So they'll talk about an idol anime in October and just raise Sarah's wife from the dead, because apparently she's a zombie. And their inside jokes is funny. That's the one downside is because there's a lot of inside jokes. If you're skipping through episodes, you're probably gonna miss out on a couple. But they get really wacky in some episodes. They always go into some kind of tangent when they do Love Live, and their Udapri episodes just get more chaotic the farther into watching Udapri that you get. So that's always fun. Some of these anime though, I probably am never going to watch. iDOL scares me. Yeah, but there's just some good recommendations, and I already have a little list made up of some of the ones that caught my eye, or rather my ear. But and they show the pretty art for the anime on the icons, so you can at least know what the art looks like before looking up the show, if you would rather do that than look up the show. So that's fun. They're both art majors, and they talk about the art, and I love the art. I love art of pretty shows, and so sometimes that's what catches me. Other times it's not what catches me, but who knows? So if you're somebody who's worried about certain content warnings in anime, or just anything you watch, they do warn about some pretty triggering stuff in certain animes. So if that's something that you're worried about, don't worry. They do it right at the beginning of the show, and if it's only an episode you have to worry about, then they'll do it in that episode. However, I do want to warn you, if as a general for the whole show, if you are somebody who has issues with the concept of unreality, this may not be the show for you. They do have this inside joke about the iDOL Illuminati, which is basically just a running theory about how all idol anime is connected. They play it straight a lot. Sometimes they'll mention that it's a joke, but they play it straight a lot when they talk about it. So I just do want to clarify that it is just a massive joke. There's no actual Illuminati based off of idols. But yeah, no, there's always, you never know when somebody's gonna be sensitive to that stuff. So I figured I should mention it before, just throw you in there being oh yeah, don't worry about the cult adjacent shit that is the subplot of an idol anime recommendation series. Yeah. But yeah, overall I really like the show as something to zone out and listen to. Some episodes were kind of misses for me, but it was nice to fill the silence with something, and a lot of the shows had me hooked anyway, even if it's for anime that I'm not gonna listen to. Like I said, that anime that I listen to, the anime that I'm gonna watch. Like I said, the idea of iDOL scares me. And so yeah, if you're somebody who just likes really long things to listen to for longer periods of time, this is a show I would recommend for you. It's pretty long, but right now they're on a hiatus. There's only 69 episodes, which doesn't sound like a lot, but like I said, episodes could range from anywhere between just over an hour to 3 hours long. And this show, I started it in June, and it took me until September to finish it. So if you want a general idea of how long it took me to listen to it, and I listen to the show pretty often, in between, like, listening to new episodes of stuff I already currently listen to, but, you know. So just a good long recommendation series. You know what? Maybe I should just start a whole podcast recommendation series recommending other recommendation podcasts. Why don't I just do that? Anyway, so that's all I have for this episode. I'm going to be linking their social medias as well as their like Idol Days website. It's a card website, I believe. I'm going to also link, just because I'm drawing fan art for this video, I'm going to link Star's comic Cast-Off. They do talk about Cast-Off a lot in Idol Days. So that's the reason why I kind of didn't go on my whole like beginning spiel that I usually do on videos where I'm not drawing fan art for the show that I'm talking about like how this isn't fan art specifically for the shows, because they do talk about Cast-Off a lot in the show. But if you like a comic with magical girls and a bunch of kids running from the cops, I recommend this comic. It's very cute. It's very good. I like it. It's got an intriguing mystery, and I'm very excited to see where it goes. And it's got my sad boys, which everybody who knows me knows I love a good sad boy. So yeah. And as always, please leave a recommendation below for podcasts that I should listen to. I'm currently doing a re-listen of the podcast that everybody at this point probably knows what podcast it is. And I have like the next two that I want to like listen to lined up. I'm just not 100% like sure which of the two I'm gonna start first, but if you have something that you want me to go check out and possibly do a video for in the future, go ahead and leave a comment down below. For all you know, it's probably already on my list. I did make a list for my recommendations next. Of course, as always, if you want to follow me, you can, because I always link my social medias into my descriptions of these videos. And, you know, maybe you want to go read my own comic. Why not? I don't think I promoted it enough. So go check out The Shepherd of Oblivion if you want. Or you can stick around and wait for when I can finally come out with In Harmony, which that will hopefully be having a release date announced soon. And yeah, that's it. Goodbye. Have fun. Go watch some good idol animes and tell me whether or not you also are scared of checking out what the fuck Gekidol is. Okay, bye.